right now, I'm going to turn things over to the Vice President of CinemaKC, Don Simon. Don and I have been, we were just counting, we've been friends for about 10 years. Don is a lawyer who specializes in entertainment. He's also been a music producer here in town. Hi, Don.
Hey there.
And we have worked together as educators. So yeah, Don was my communications professor as I directed humanities and media arts. So Don is going to introduce you to the guests for the Q&A. Again, please, everyone, feel free to ask questions and try to get a chat dialogue going with both Julia and Cheryl and Mona, the designers. And James is also going to be with us, so that's exciting. So I give you Don Simon.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for attending this really wonderful Earth Day related program, Heart and Soil. We have some really great Q&A time scheduled for tonight with some great artists. Plus we have, after our brief intermission, we're going to have another artist show their film. So lots and lots of really good stuff in store. So without further ado, let me bring back on the artist that you just saw in those videos. Please welcome Julia Othmer. Hi, Julia.
Hi, Don. How are you?
I'm good. And then you also have with you there James Lundie.
Hi. Good evening.
And then I'll also bring on Mona and Cheryl.
Hi, ladies.
There's Cheryl. Cheryl, I think you have your mic muted, but we can see you just great. And then there's Mona there too. Hi.
Hello.
So let's talk a little bit about this really great piece that we saw. It's a work in progress, and what we've seen so far, 3/7 of it, I guess you could say. Fabulous. What was your inspiration for this? How did you come up with the songs? Tell us about those fabulous outfits that you were wearing, and get it all in the next 15 minutes.
All right. Well, first off, I do want to say, I think there was a streaming issue with the film. As we were watching it, it seemed to be very slowed down. And so it's not quite representative of what we were wanting to show. But I know we're in a virtual world and there are glitches, but I did want to express that because we take great pride in our work. The inspiration of Seven came from, in this incredibly bizarre year that we've been through, how when we were socially distanced and so far apart, could we figure out how to build bridges and celebrate this amazing diversity that is in our world. And we decided the one thing we can't do right now is tour. Is there any way we can turn that on its head? And we said, okay, we can't tour anywhere, so let's tour the entire world. Let's do 7 songs on 7 continents in 7 days. And we decided from the very beginning, it would be very, very intuitive. And we would seek out collaborators from all over the world who would be able to contribute to this idea. And as each continent has developed, I feel like the dialogue and the platform between artists that are collaborating with me has just deepened and enriched the project. For example, being able to work with Cheryl Eve and Mona, it's just an incredible way to be able to share our platforms as artists and to be having another level of conversation with our work. And I'm really glad that they're both here tonight as well.
Great. And now James, what you were sort of in the background, working behind the scenes on this. Talk a little bit about your contribution to this wonderful project.
Well, to be honest, Julia has done the bulk of the organizational and getting it all together, to be honest. I'm really the technical guy. I've been setting up the studio here since we moved down here from Los Angeles. So I've been getting just setting up the technical side of it, really, and doing all the blue screen and green screen stuff, learning the technology a bit, trying to figure it all out as we go, and just trying to improve our product as we go forward with it, and trying to capture good quality sound. And I don't know, we're just figuring it all out, really.
Yeah. Before we bring in the designers and talk with them, Julia, how was your song selection for this? How did you pick songs for this project?
Again, everything started very, very intuitively. And no matter what twists and turns we've been on the journey, whether by location or the artists that we're meeting, it's all very intuitive. And the songs have usually been curated with my hosts. So for example, in South America, I would never have known this incredible song in Quechua by Luis Mila Carpio. And my hostess, Maria, we just talked about songs. What song speaks to this place? What song speaks to you? Can you introduce me to a lot of music that is profound for you? And listening to the songs, I thought, okay, of these that she's presented, which do I feel I could bring something to and sort of also make it my own? And I do also want to say with this whole project, we know there's no way we can get it right. I mean, a song for one continent or even one location for a continent, that's just nuts. It's never going to be comprehensive. However, I think it can start asking a lot of questions and open dialogues that sometimes we hesitate to have because we might not know how to move forward in certain situations or be familiar with certain environments, whether they be environmental or social or cultural. So it's just been very intuitive. I mean, Hudson River Valley, Woodstock, Joni Mitchell, Earth Day, come on, Big Yellow Taxi, boom. That was an easy one to figure out.
That was the easy one, yeah, great. All right, well, let's talk to Cheryl and Mona for just a second. Ladies, let's talk about your contributions to this project. Cheryl, I know you, we go way back a few years. I know your wonderful products and Julie that you put up there. So let's talk about what you contributed to for this project, and then Mona, we'll move over to you.
Well, thank you, Don. Thank you, everyone. Julia, you were amazing. Loved it. I really enjoyed the performance, and thank you for including my art. Today, well, there were several pieces that we did have on Julia for the Antarctica performance. We were wanting to kind of go about the whole like ocean and the water and nature, and that's what my work is about. It's about the cycle of life. So I started with the cycles of my life are pretty much about birth, the beginning, the emergence of life in the ocean. And then from there, it becomes about the survival of the algae, of the plants, and then the fossils and the remains. So the healing collar that Julia was wearing, that one's actually, it's called Healing from my Hidden in Nature collection. The hidden beauties of our planet that we so know little about, and that one is about basically kind of that the corals will live your way trying to survive in this environment that's really harsh, but at the same way it's just very, I don't know how to explain. It's just about survival basically, so it's copper and fabric fused together. And it's inspired by the Gorgorian, which is a sea fan. And the sea fans are known to slow down kind of like, the wave impact and the damage, and allows corals to grow and breed. And then we had the cycles, the Ciclos collections, which were like little spirals of water. And there's about continuity. So it's about the continuity of life. And without water, we really don't have life. So for me, I cherish our planet. And with my work, I want to have this conversation as a way, wearing pieces that are reminiscent of ocean life for us to engage in this conversation, not just in how beautiful it is, but how do we take care of it? How do we protect it? So we thought this was kind of fitting for us together to kind of like put it all together and have kind of this like frozen water, just whimsical environment with beautiful music and performance. So yeah, thank you, Julia. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. And Mona, talk about your contribution to this project.
Well, Julia, if you could add how you came to me, that would be good. Like,
I sought you out.
Yeah. Well, my art was actually, you found me through another artist had suggested her looking into my art. It was at the Interurban Art House, and it's a dress that was created in the sense of like Native futurisms. Kind of, it was developed out of this process that I was going through and creating art and digging through piles at the junkyard. I mean, it's not very glamorous, but there's these processes that we as Native people have always used in creating like using materials. And I started thinking as I was like digging for materials at this junkyard, like how are these processes going to be applied in the future? Native women like skinning buffalo hides. Well, there's no more buffalo left, like what are we going to use in the future? What are we leaving behind? So that's kind of where that dress was born from. And also changing cultures, like how culture is constantly evolving and changing. And so that's where the QR code comes from. And so that's the design elements that you saw on the dress. That Twitter, actually, it's a QR code that scans to my Twitter account. And it's just kind of alluding to like how culture is changing so fast. So that's what the dress is a part of. It's a part of an ongoing body of work that I'm creating. And then if you saw the gas mask that was on the piano, that's a part of it. That's the newer pieces. And that's kind of the direction where it's going. Yeah.
Great. Well, what can other artists learn about sustainability? We often think about sustainability during Earth Day, but obviously it's something that we should be thinking about year round. What can artists do, and maybe give some examples, and this is the question for all of you, what kind of, maybe give some examples of how you have contributed to the sustainability effort. And Mona sort of kind of mentioned that just a moment ago, going through trash piles and reusing and recycling and everything like that. And what, maybe some examples from the rest of the panelists about sustainability.
I think something that's really important to remember is that we can all take really small actions, and small actions can collectively have a huge impact. So something as simple as when it's my stage, for example, there's no single-use plastic on my stage. I have my multi-use carafe, so to speak. And so there's little ways that we can be doing it, offsetting tours with planting trees. A portion of all of our merch proceeds go to several different groups, including reforestation efforts. So it's, just even small things that we can all be doing.
Absolutely. And Cheryl, how are you working with sustainability in your projects?
For me, I try to use materials that are organic in nature. So like copper is natural in nature, glass, the enamel that I fuse over copper is natural as well, silver. But for me, it's also important to recycle the metal itself. So that's something that I do. You can melt metals, you can reuse them, reshape them, or you can send them out to be recycled. And like trying to work with other materials like plastic and stuff like that I really try to avoid that unless I'm really trying to make a statement about that problem, like the wave that you had on the piano, which was that duality of water, but it was plastic wave, and then the copper was the base, which was, kind of us humans, we have copper in our blood. So it's sort of like that duality of the man-made. And so for me, I try to like talk about sustainability also with the materials that I use. And so, yeah, I mean, for me, it's also part of like that ongoing conversation, like also buying less, don't buy junk, buy pieces that you're going to use for a long time. And I believe in that. I believe in investing nice pieces that you will pass on to other people. So create with a reason or cause, an intention, not just to make for the sake of making. Yeah. Great.
Good advice. Okay, we have just a few minutes left before we take our intermission. Julia, can you give us a little, maybe don't have to reveal everything, but maybe just a little peek at what's to come for the 4 remaining parts of your project? Again, you don't have to give away any trade secrets, but maybe let us know when you think it might be completed and what other themes you might have going on. So feel free to dish away if you so desire.
Well, there will be 4 more songs on 4 more continents. And it is a process of discovery. I feel so very fortunate that I found Mona and her work, and that we were able to connect. And and Cheryl. And it just, again, it's an intuitive process. We're expecting for the project to be completed and premiering probably mid to late summer. And actually, I'd like to give a special thanks to Pat Williams and EarthFest, because in a lot of the discussions that we were having earlier on and learning more about other panelists that have been participating this weekend, it helped deepen the project and really consider some of the ways that our project was being sustainable or not in fashion choices and design choices, and has expanded our sort of sense, our own conversation with the project. So I'm very, very grateful to that. And again, so grateful to the artists that are collaborating with me, especially Mona and Cheryl.
I want to make sure that everybody gets the opportunity to talk about any other upcoming projects that you'd like to just give a plug to in the few minutes left. You want to talk about anything coming up? You want to talk about the fact that you've moved back here, Julia and James T. Lundie?
We have relocated back to Kansas City, which it's very awesome to be here. We are loving it. And it already, we feel like we're thriving, and just, being able to be in this artist community has been phenomenal. What a spirit of collaboration and communication and sense of sharing platforms, which I think is such an invigorating and healthy aspect of an amazing art scene. So it feels really, really, I mean, this panel tonight to me is demonstrative of that. And I will just drop a little secret in that there is a secret project that is brewing, and you'll know soon enough that there's a secret project that will soon be revealed.
Oh, and then there's also seeds out there, seeds 1 and 2.
Yes, we did Songs of September. We did a 30-day online voter registration single song concert series. Every day in September, we were presenting a different song of hope and change and protest alongside voter registration information to help stimulate engagement with the then upcoming political election, and of course, celebrate all those around the world that have been making their voices heard even louder most recently. And we released 2 albums over the last few months from that collection of songs, Seeds Volume 1 and Seeds Volume 2, which just came out in the spring solstice.
And they're fabulous. I listened to all of them so that I could vote for the best.
Yes, the first one was a democratically elected album, a listener curated album. Those that got the most votes were the ones on the album.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Mona, you said you have something going into a museum. And Eva, I bet, or Cheryl, I bet that you have something coming up. You want to talk about anything before we leave? We're about ready to leave.
Oh, okay. I have a commission that I'm working on for the Kansas City Museum. It's 2 large-scale installation pieces that incorporate seed beads with the form of wood. I'm working with a walnut wood. It's trying to promote the harmony between us and nature, and how do we work between the two. And so that's kind of what I'm highlighting with my seed beads. It's an indigenous practice of honoring by creating for an entity. So that's what I'm doing.
That's fascinating. Cheryl, how about you?
I'm actually also working for a public art project. I don't want to mention where or what, but I'm hoping that in October or maybe by the end of the year, it will be installed and made. I'm also working, like I recently expanded in my studio space. So I'm also opening up my doors to other artists, other makers, and having events here as well. So I'll be having more information on my website, but I'm really looking forward to this year sort of becoming that another platform where artists can come together, brainstorm, have events, bring artists together in the physical world when we all feel safer, because I feel that ideas just brew out so much more as well when we're engaged together. And also, showing what we make, and supporting each other. So I have also that going on among, making my art and other little projects that I have going on. Yeah, thank you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Mona. Thank you, James T. Lundie. And thank you, Julia Othmer.